Hi everybody. Lori Marie here, mixed media artist in Vallejo, California. It's Christmas Eve here and it is chilly cold out. We're going to be working on a collage today. It's going to be a two-parter. We're going to work on the background and the focal point first, and then how we put those together in the second part. Some things that you will need that aren't mentioned in the supplies is you will need a sewing machine, and that is for the second part, and a paint pen also for the second part, and your Stabilo also for the second part. But just so you're prepared to go from part 1 to part 2. It's very fun, and we use distress ink and watercolor paper for the background, which is really yummy, and you can use whatever colors you want. I tend to be pretty colorful with my backgrounds, as you probably know. A couple of things. Looks like I can keep your attention on these videos for about 7 minutes, so that's why I'm breaking this up into 2 videos. Secondly, if you want to order things that I'm using on these videos, I leave the Amazon links in the notes, and if you order from my Amazon links, I do get credit for those. So let's get to it. Let's go through the supply list and see on the table. Okay, let's go through the supplies you're going to need for today's project, and it's going to be in 2 parts, remember that. So we'll do the background first, and then we'll do the collage after. So what you're going to need is a spray bottle with some water in it, a rubber stamp of your choice, your Mighty Mod Podge, a brush, not my favorite brush, that is still MIA, a heat stick. I'm going to use 4 colors of Distress Ink by Tim Holtz, a stencil, a focal point, an old page, an old book page, and a piece of watercolor paper. And I prefer the textured side, so I'm going to play on the textured side. Now I have a Teflon baking sheet that I'm going to use, but if you don't have one, a plastic bag will work just fine. This is what I've been using until I went to my kitchen and stole my baking sheet from the kitchen, and a pair of scissors, and I think that's it. So let's get rolling. What I chose to do was to cover this whole page with Mod Podge, and I'm going to let it dry, and then I'm going to glue my focal point down. This will help me not have as many wrinkles, because this will be a sturdier sheet for me to be applying my focal point to. I'm going to let it dry. So I want to show you this page after the Mod Podge is on it, and it is a much sturdier page now. It's just 1 coat of Mod Podge on it, but it does make a difference, and so this will be more stable for me to glue my focal point on. And what I'll do is I'll put glue on the back of my focal point, and then I will put it down, and I will massage it from the center out, gluing everything down, and hopefully it'll be as wrinkle-free as possible. Alright, I've put my focal point on. I've reconstructed her the way that I want her. If you need a squeegee, then go ahead and take your squeegee and go through your focal point, removing any excess glue, and then remove the excess glue from your squeegee so that you go back in every time with a clean squeegee. So you do want to make sure everything is glued down pretty tightly. And it looks like we are fairly wrinkle-free. Now I'm going to go around the edge, and I'm just going to tear this because I just want an edge of the paper, the page. So I'm just going to go around and I'm just going to tear it. As you can see, it's a very uncontrolled tearing, and I am tearing the focal point towards me so that it's beveled so that it will lay flat. That's underpants for another time. And just continue until you have it torn out the way you want it. Mine's going to be very ragged, and that's the way that I want it. I saw a little part of the book that wasn't down quite completely, and I want it down completely. So. Alright, let's see how much of this she takes up now. She's going to take up most of it. Oh, look at that. That is just about perfect. Alright, I'm going to set her aside and let her dry completely. And we're going to play with the background. For my first color, I'm going to grab Wild Honey, and I'm going to just smear it on my work surface. And I'm going to come in with some water. And I'm going to lay my watercolor down, my watercolor paper down. Yum. And I'm going to absorb as much of that ink as I possibly can. Nice. Beautiful. Alright, I'm just blotting up that ink, and I'm going to take my heat gun and I'm going to heat set this. What a beautiful beginning. Alright, I'm just going to wipe down that work surface, and I'm going to grab the ink. This happens to be crushed olive. These are just the colors that I'm using. You do not have to use these colors at all. You know that. And I'm just going to put it on my work area. And I'm going to spray it with some water. And on this one, I'm going to concentrate more around the edge. Nice. Collecting as much of that ink as I can. Oh. So I'm just kind of looking at it and testing it to see how the color looks, where it needs more. Oh, that's beautiful. And I'm going to heat set that. So I now have the Wild Honey, the crushed olive, and the vintage photo. You can see the vintage photo, I concentrated around the edges with that. Now I'm going to bring the iced spruce in. Alright, let's take a peek about this with our focal point. Oh, glorious. Absolutely glorious. Alright, let's keep moving forward. So I'm going to say with our focal point, we need to bring a little bit of a muted red in. So I took barn door, put it on my work area, sprayed it with some water. Now I'm going to take my stamp, nice, and I'm just going to put a little bit of activity along the edge of the piece with that. Very cool. Wipe that off. And I'm going to heat set this. Now I'm going to add some more of the barn door. And I'm going to get it wet, and I'm going to lay my stencil in it. Nice and juicy. I'm going to take my stencil, and I'm going to lay it in here. Pick up some of that ink. Grab my piece, and I'm going to lay it on there. I'm just pushing it down with a paper towel. It's beautiful. Let's do it some more. Oh, my tummy's growling. And we're just looking for activity. A little bit of pattern there. Alright, let's heat set it. Okay, I went in and laid the stencil down a couple more times. You can see the activity there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the wild honey and I'm going to come back, same process, on here with water, and I'm going to hit some of the areas that I missed before. I'm going to make it kind of juicy so it'll run a little bit. I'm going to show you the process as we go. So this is the ink, juicy amount of water, press down, and this will start to move things. There we go. And I will do that in a couple more spots. And that will move. Can you see how it's moving? It's gorgeous. Beautiful. Alright, I'm going to heat set this. Alright, so here is your gorgeous Distress ink and water background. It's going to be this way with my focal point. And we're going to stop there, and you can create your background, and then we will come back for part 2 and put the focal point down. Go create. Go play. Go have fun.